And welcome to a look at Yo Yo for the Amiga, a game that was developed by Scipio and released by Playbyte. The plot of Yo Yo is a bit of a mess. No one seems to agree on what the plot actually is, but as far as I can gather, some bad guys are consulting an oracle concerning the following year's output of their activities, and some nonsense about the oracle trying to get attention away from herself tells the bad guys that there are these two young lads who needs to be dealt with in a rather harsh fashion in order for the bad guys' criminal activities, whatever, to succeed. So, luckily for the game, I suppose, the two individuals find themselves outside the first bad guy's castle, and that's where the game starts. If you play this game as single player, you play the role of Joe, who of course has given name to the title. But you can also bring a friend if you so desire. In my case, I always play with all my friends, and that's why I'm playing so many single player games. Joking aside, you can play this game two players simultaneously, which of course for this game's hype is somewhat unique. And if you play with a friend, your friend will take control of Nat, or you can take control of Joe, and you will take control of Nat. What do I know? Nat, by the way, has a very charming nickname, the Rat. And they have the same abilities and same potential powers. Joe can punch and he can jump kick. The jump kick, especially for enemies low on the ground, has to be landed very accurately, and sometimes it feels like it's got certain issues landing. But thankfully, weapons are available relatively early in the level, and the different weapons that you have includes nunchaku, shurikens, a petrol bomb, and the ever important steel pipe. The different weapons have different properties, and as you may have noticed, jumping around, Joe can hold on to ledges, and some people claimed it was almost like Prince of Persia. I think that's perhaps being a bit too generous, but whatever floats people's boats, I suppose. But the different weapons, if you are using the nunchucks, you cannot jump and attack at the same time. But something like the steel pipe, you can jump and attack, which automatically makes it the best weapon in the game, but you cannot hold on to ledges. So the different weapons have various different things you have to be mindful of. Something I find interesting is that you keep the different weapons, and something like shurikens, by the way, you pick them up one at a time, which is a bit not very generous, but whatever. In order to change the weapon, you actually press down and fire at the same time in order to cycle through the weapons. And something I found interesting was the fact that people seem to be very happy with that control scheme. Considering how many people were unhappy with the fact that gods used a similar system to control inventory, yeah, well, maybe I'm overthinking things as per usual. Let us go through the technical aspects of this game. Graphically, some computer magazines insisted that Joe looks like an Elvis impersonator. Looking at him, I suppose I can agree to that to a certain point. His white suit, his slick hair, and his sunglasses. And various different people have various different opinions about how Joe looks, but personally I don't mind either way. He does things when I do things, and That's good enough for me. I don't think he looks particularly cool, I don't think he looks particularly misplaced. He looks, what can I say? The enemies, at least in the first level, it is a sort of a scary castle kind of thing, but the enemies don't look particularly scary. So if the intention was to have some sort of feeling of dread in this game, it's definitely missed the mark by quite a margin. But you can't complain about the quality of the graphics. Backgrounds and all that stuff are very, very detailed, and it looks fairly decent all round. One thing I will say though is I would personally have preferred slightly lighter colors, or at least some lighter colors. I'm not necessarily talking Rainbow Islands style graphics, but I've never been much of a fan of these somewhat darkish looking games. As we all know, the Amiga was quite capable of handling quite bright colors, and anyone doubting that should try and play Rainbow Islands. The sound design, the sound effects are by and large very, very satisfying. You have good response from doing various things like punching, kicking, smacking stuff, throwing petrol bombs, shurikens and all that kind of stuff. Not unlike many other games, when Joe punches or kicks, whether he hits something or not, he will make a connection, explosion, or sound. Having done karate myself, I know that you use ki, which of course is a yell. You don't necessarily yell ki, some people actually misunderstand and do that, but you come up with your own sound, and so it can be carrot, it can be die your mother, it can be whatever it was. But anyway, I digress. I'm very good at doing that, by the way. I'm fairly happy with the sound effects. They are not over the top and they are not unnoticeable, and they seem to fit the tone of the game quite well. The music is something that an awful lot of people seem to worship and want to go to dinner with and that kind of stuff, and yeah. You see, on that point I couldn't find any larger portion of agreement residing in me. The music is definitely not bad, and the compositions are fairly decent, and they are somewhat lengthy. But of the music that I've heard, which of course is only silent music and level 1, I wasn't particularly impressed by it. It's definitely not bad, but the people claiming that it's the best music they've ever heard, I mean, it's to their own. If people believe that, then I am not going to try and take it away from them. But I will just say with games like Turrican 2, music, it's a hard sell, especially for me. So I don't know. The thing is, I mean, if we all like the same things, everything will be boring, so it's probably good that some people love the music and some people like me can take it or leave it. But speaking of the music though, and that is something that I find extremely grating. I couldn't really define whether it was intentional, but I wouldn't believe it to be intentional because it sounds wrong. But the music drags at times. It doesn't even seem that the screens are necessarily particularly busy, but you can quite clearly hear that the music is struggling to be played, which is something that I've only experienced in preciously few Amiga games, and I find it extremely hard to accept, because it just, you can almost hear how slow it goes. It just sounds absolutely awful, and that for me alone is reason enough to black mark a game dramatically. I like my sound, I like my music, and when my music is being dragged out like overstretched elastic band, I'm not happy. The controls are responsive and accurate, and as I mentioned, you change weapons by by holding down and pressing fire. So in that regard, I'm perfectly happy. The gameplay, action, platformer, exploration. It's supposed to be infinitely better with a friend, which I find very, very easy to believe. I don't find this game to be anything particularly special, so that would be very, very easy, but most games, if you have the option to play two players, especially at the same time, they are usually infinitely better. Depending, of course, who you play with. If you play with someone you don't gel with, it can actually be worse playing with someone else, but by and large, it enhances the gameplay experience. And something that was pointed out concerning this game is that the music. There's quite a few compositions and they are quite lengthy, apparently amounting to a total of 44 minutes of music. Since I haven't heard it all, I can't verify that, but I see no reason not to believe that to be the case. But if it was meant as a semi-sales pitch to make me drop my jaw in a sense of epic awesomeness, if you play the same version of Last Ninja from 1987 or Last Ninja 2 from 1988 for the Commodore 64, you have a loot tune for each level and you have a level tune. I'm fairly sure that amounts to a lot more than the 44 minutes of music in total, and personal preferences being what they are, I find the music in both of those games infinitely more catchy, funky and enjoyable than I find the music in this game. The gameplay is what it is. Either you'll love it or you probably won't. I do like a good platformer. I don't mind a certain amount of exploration, but likely because of my advancing age, I found the amount of exploration required in this game to be a bit too much for me. Yojo is not bad, but personally I find it highly overrated. On that note, thanks for watching, take care, see you next time, bye bye for now.